The Trump administration recently announced that houses of worship damaged during natural disasters will now be able to receive funds from the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA. Some advocacy groups are challenging the new rules, claiming they violate the separation of church and state. But proponents of the new funding rules argue churches and other religious institutions should be treated no differently than other nonprofit organizations. What do you think? Perspectives. The Trump administration announced that houses of worship damaged during natural disasters will now be allowed to use funds from FEMA to rebuild. The new rules are being challenged by some advocacy groups who argue this violates the First Amendment's prohibition on the government establishing religion. This latest decision is a departure from the norm, which kept federal funds from going directly to religious institutions. Early on, President Donald Trump argued that churches damaged by Hurricane Harvey ought to be treated the same way as other nonprofit institutions. Churches in Texas should be entitled to reimbursement from FEMA relief funds for helping victims of Hurricane Harvey, just like others. But many believe if churches wish to receive federal funds, they should pay taxes like everyone else. If you don't pay taxes, you don't get FEMA. Pretty simple. Why do they have tax-exempt status if they can have access to tax dollars? What happened to separation of church and state? In an official statement released by the Secular Coalition for America, Executive Director Larry T. Decker argues giving tax dollars to religious institutions crosses a clear constitutional line. Others have applauded the decision. Many churches function as charities during natural disasters, providing food and shelter to those in need. It is completely fair that they receive FEMA aid to help rebuild their institutions. I am pleased to see that FEMA reversed their rule and will now allow houses of worship to receive disaster relief. After Hurricane Harvey, churches throughout the Houston area opened their doors to the community as they turned into shelters and schools. https://tco/ZA75UT7P5Q. Applause for FEMA's new rule change, allowing places of worship to apply for disaster aid. Several churches in Texas and Florida had been denied for months under the old policy, now changed. This is fantastic news. Religious institutions function like nonprofits, and should therefore be treated like nonprofits under the law. The TYLT is focused on debates and conversations around news, current events, and pop culture. We provide our community with the opportunity to share their opinions and vote on topics that matter most to them. We actively engage the community and present meaningful data on the debates and conversations as they progress. The TYLT is a place where your opinion counts, literally. The TYLT is an Advanced Digital, Inc. property. Join us on Twitter at the TYLT or on Facebook. We'd love to hear what you have to say.